Ashley. Welcome back to Books and Nerdy Things. If you saw my last video, you know I am back on Booktube, steadily trying to make, steady videos again. But I'm also kind of rebooting my channel, so I have decided to redo the new to Booktube tags, the Booktube Newbie Tag and the new to Booktube tag, because they are different tags. They ask a lot of different questions, so I'm going to be redoing both of those and kind of restarting my channel. And a lot has changed in the last year since I've started this channel and since I did those tags originally back in August of 2016. A lot has changed in my life, so I'm just going to be probably taking those videos down and re-uploading them as new and current. But I am going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag in this video. I don't remember who this tag was created by. I think it was created by someone who was on YouTube quite a long time ago and is no longer actually on YouTube, but this tag goes around a lot and is kind of a way for new booktubers to introduce themselves. And it's also a good way to get some recognition because people are constantly searching for new booktubers using, the Booktube Newbie Tag. So I figure it's a good way to just kind of reboot myself and tell you guys a little bit more about who I am without you guys having to go back and watch that horrible first video. We're just going to jump into it. I have all of the questions written on a little notebook down here so I don't forget any. And we're just going to dive right into this tag. Question 1. Why did you start this channel? So my channel is currently called Books and Nerdy Things. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll know my channel was called A Little Book Nerd, and I just recently changed the name of it. I started this channel because I really love to read. I've always enjoyed reading. And I haven't always been able to enjoy it as much as I want or to be able to read as much as I want. But I've always loved to read ever since I was a little girl, and my mom taught me to read at a really young age. I was always ahead of everyone else in my class in terms of reading. I was the kid in elementary school who was reading 6th grade books when I was in 2nd grade. I was always, grade levels ahead of where others were. And I've always been kind of a quick reader, so I tend to get through books really quickly. It's always been a really big hobby of mine. I've always really enjoyed it. I love buying books, I love holding books, and I love talking about books. And in my life, I don't have a lot of people I can talk to about books. I have about 2 friends, or more like 3 friends who enjoy reading, but 2 of those friends don't really read as much as me. They have a lot of other things going on in their life. They don't have as much time to read as other people do. And so it's hard to talk to them about books because of the fact they're not reading the same things I am. I do have one friend who reads quite a bit. She's actually ahead of me in a lot of series right now because of the fact that I had to take such a long break of reading during student teaching. I don't have a lot of people in my life that like to read. My fiance hates reading, can't talk to him about books. He doesn't really quite get why we enjoy reading so much. So my starting Booktube is a way of me being able to talk about the books that I'm enjoying, books I want to read, and being able to share this love with other people who love the same things I do. And I feel like that's the standard answer everyone gives. I mean, why else would you be on Booktube if you didn't love to read? But it's also a great, it's also my way of trying to reach out to other, readers and find friends who enjoy the same things, who enjoy reading as much as I do. Question 2. What are some fun or unique things that you can bring to Booktube? And that's a really hard question to answer. Everyone's unique on Booktube. And I think finding a booktuber is a really personal thing. You don't always enjoy every booktuber out there. There are plenty of times where I've watched Booktube Newbie Tags by other booktubers, and I just don't see them as being a booktuber that I'm going to want to watch a lot. For whatever reason, you just don't connect with them as a booktuber, and usually for me it's because they're not reading the things that I'm willing to enjoy watching. I read a lot of young adult books. I personally know that if I find a booktuber who doesn't talk a lot about young adult books, I tend not to watch them because I'm not reading those same books. And if I can connect to, people who watch Booktube because they like me or my taste in books, then I think, that's kind of why I'm here. And I think that's something, unique that I can bring because finding a booktuber is something unique to every single person. But as far as what I can bring to this channel, my perspective, my thoughts, even though I might read the same books as someone else, I have my own thoughts on those same books. And that's all I can really bring, I guess. I mean, my own unique take on things, my own unique content. Number 3, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I think the thing I'm most excited for about in getting back to booktubing is connecting with others. As I mentioned, I don't have a lot of bookish friends. I don't have a lot of friends who read. But I'm hoping through this booktube channel I will be able to find other people, other friends who like to read that I can, connect with and enjoy talking to. Booktube is a really nice community, a really great community of people who are nice and kind and like to read. So I'm hoping to find some friends here. I'm just really excited to talk about books. One of the best things about Booktube, I also think, is being able to find recommendations for books that you may not have known about. For instance, I love watching anticipated releases videos because you get to learn about books that you might not have known about before. And that's something that I love about Booktube, is maybe being able to turn others on to books they might not have known about, books that weren't on their radar, or being able to give interesting perspectives on books that they might not have enjoyed or might not have gotten a chance to read yet. So aside from making friends, I'm also really excited to be able to, give my own interesting perspectives on things. Question 4, why do you love reading? And this is kind of a loaded question for me. When I was little, I didn't go to preschool. Most kids go to preschool. I did not. My mom was a stay-at-home mom when I was a kid, and she kept me home from preschool because not only was it kind of pricey, but, as a stay-at-home mom, she didn't feel the need to send me to preschool because she was home. And instead of going to preschool every day, we worked on reading. So I learned to read at a really young age, and a mom instilled that love of reading in me from a really young age. And reading was always something we did together. I remember reading plenty of books to her as a kid. I loved reading books to her reading books to me. Reading has always been something I love. You get to experience, characters that you don't get to experience in real life. You get to go to places you may have never been, whether you're reading fictional, non-fictional, contemporary, fantasy. Even if it's a book set in Italy, you're getting to experience Italy, even if you're getting to experience someone's perspective on Italy. You get to experience a lot of different things. You get to go places and do things you've never done. Reading the Throne of Glass series, I am so much into assassins and learning about assassins and things like that. And I never would have experienced this whole assassin lifestyle that was in the Throne of Glass series if I hadn't read it. And the same kind of goes for why I like to play video games, because you get to experience these things that you don't get to experience in your normal life. And I love reading for that reason. It takes you away, gives you a distraction. Also, books are just really nice to hold and to have. And I don't know, I've always loved to write as well, so reading just kind of goes hand in hand with that. And one of the reasons that, I got back into reading, because I fell out of reading while I was in school. School just kind of took over my life. I wasn't reading as much. And then roughly 2 years ago, 2 years in August, my mom passed away. She passed away August of 2015. And, from stage 4 colon and liver cancer. And that was really hard for me. It was a really hard time in my life to go through. And while she was sick, reading was something that didn't even occur to me because I was so busy with college. I was so busy trying to take care of her. So reading was something that just kind of fell to the wayside. And after she passed away, I was looking for distractions. I remember the first month or two after she passed away, all I did was play video games. It was all I could physically handle at that time. I was so engrossed with grieving and dealing with the loss that I couldn't handle too much at one time. And so all I did was play video games as a way of numbing myself. And around April, after she passed away, I was looking for more. So I got back into reading as a way to kind of connect with my long gone mother. Because reading was something she had taught me to do, and reading kind of helps me connect with her. And it's kind of getting toppy now, so I'm going to move on. But I love to read because it reminds me of her. We have a lot of the same taste in books, so when I read, I kind of sometimes think, what would she think about a book? What would she think about this part of the book? And think about being able to recommend this book to her. Question 5. What book or book series got you into reading? When I was young, I remember loving to read, but one of the book series that I first remember loving is, and it's not everyone's typical answer. A lot of people will say Harry Potter got them into reading. I didn't read Harry Potter for the first time until a few years ago, actually. I read all 7 books over the course of summer going into my junior or senior year of college. So 2-3 years ago, I finally read Harry Potter. But the books that got me into reading, or the first series that I really remember falling in love with and being like, wow, reading can do this. This is what reading can give me, is a series by Tamora Pierce. And Tamora Pierce wrote these books over here, which this is, I think, my favorite series by her. But one of the first series I read by her, which is one of her first series that came out, is the Lioness Quartet. The first book in the series is Alana, the First Adventure, and it's basically a series about a girl named Alana. It's a fantasy series, and it's set in a medieval type world where there are knights and magicians, or not magicians, but wizards. And there's magic in this world, and Alana has a twin brother named Tom, and when they come of age at 12 years old, Alana is supposed to be sent off to a convent to learn magic and to learn how to be a lady, and Tom is supposed to be sent off to be a knight, but they're kind of the opposite. Alana likes to fight and is kind of afraid of her magic, and Tom really enjoys his magic and wants to go off and learn how to be a great wizard. So being twins, they decide to kind of change places. Alana cuts off most of her hair and pretends to be a boy, so that way she can be sent off to school to be a knight, and her brother can be sent off to learn how to be a wizard. So it's kind of got that Mulan-esque type of story where Alana is masquerading as a boy, and it's just a really great series about female empowerment and Alana learning how to be a knight and showing people that even though she's a woman, she can do things just as well as a man can, and also learning how to accept her magic and herself and falling in love. And it's just a really great series, especially as, a girl who was in middle school, and reading about this girl who was doing things as well as a man could was really eye-opening to me and helped me really kind of mature and see that even though I was a girl, I wasn't, worse off than a boy or anything. It was a really great series for me personally as someone who was still growing up. And I highly recommend this series to everybody. Question number 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktuber? Now, some of my favorite booktubers are, everyone's favorite booktubers, a Book Utopia, Paul and Bananas Books, Katie Tastic. Everyone watches these booktubers. So, my favorite booktubers aren't really a surprise to anybody. But if I had to ask them questions, if I had the opportunity, it would probably relate to editing videos, because I suck at editing. Editing is not something I'm good at, and it might just be because I'm new at it still, but the reason why I tend to take so long in between posting videos is because editing takes forever, and it's something I really dread. I love filming videos. I can film all day long, but I hate editing, and I'm terrible at filming. I make a lot of, ums and knows and blah, and hacking my brains up because my allergies are killing me. That I have to edit. I can't just post this because no one would ever watch it. Hell, this tag right now is 21 minutes long without editing. So I have to edit. Editing is just not something I'm good at. I'm still getting used to it. So give me tips on how to make editing better. Or, if anyone has a video or tips on editing videos, please tell me below, because I could use assistance on this a lot. Also, how do you just tips on finding time to read, because a lot of times I forego reading because I have a million other things to do. And finally, the last question in this tag, question 7, what challenges do you think starting this booktube channel will be hardest to overcome? And as I just mentioned, editing. And trying to stick to a schedule because editing takes so long for me to do. So just trying to stay on a steady schedule, I think, is going to be the hardest thing for me to deal with and overcome. Alright, and that was the Booktube Newbie Tag. As I mentioned, I will also be doing the New to Booktube Tag, which will probably be coming up next. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Books and Nerdy Things. My book blog is not up and running yet, So I will not be linking that below just yet, but as soon as it is, everything pertaining to my blog will be below. It's also going to be under the name of Books and Nerdy Things. Please don't forget to subscribe and check out my social medias, which will be linked below and at the end of this video and all that good stuff. So please feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!